Let's start with the Indian rupee, which has seen a fifth straight day of gains coming into the markets today. We have seen 6.5% of a rise coming in last 5 days itself. And today's intraday high has been at around 63.02 into the markets there. Nearly 1% of gain coming into the markets today as well. Well, you have seen the equity markets rebound as well, not just in India, but in Asia as well. That has been supportive. You have seen the Syria concerns ease off. Most of the commodity prices have declined. And you have seen various RBI steps into the market, like opening up of financial markets, giving a separate window for OMCs and also encouraging dollar inflows, and all of that really seems to be working in a favorable sentiment for the currency there. But it really is going to be the IIP numbers tomorrow in the evening that will tell you on where the rupee is headed in the very near term. Let's get in then. A.V. Rajwade, he's Forex and Treasury Risk Management Consultant. Also joining us is Vijay Bhamwani, who is author and CEO, BSPL India. Vijay, hi, let's start with you first. And how is the rupee looking on charts now with the kind of turnaround that we have seen on the higher side?
Manisha, I mentioned 62.5 to 62.80. I think that's where we are headed. And we are barely 1% away from 62.80. So I think in the coming 1 or 2 trading sessions, that is the likelihood of the rupee appreciating up to. Although I'm not really very sure that the gains that the rupee has notched up in the last couple of trading sessions can be sustained, because the dollar still remains strong, and this could be classified as a technical pullback for the dollar and routine profit taking. So I think I would watch 62.5 very, very keenly.
Mr. Rajwade, what's your sense? Fifth straight day of gains coming in. Of course, there are some fundamental issues which still are in the market, but how would you read the current run-up?
Well, I think it's a very, very positive sentiment generated primarily by the statement and press conference of the governor. I think how long that lasts remains to be seen, and chances are that the positive sentiment, one is the number is of course the IIP, which is there tomorrow, but I imagine that the markets will also be closely watching the monetary policy statement, which is about a week away. I think it has been delayed to 20th September. So I would expect that probably not too much may happen during this period, but as you rightly said in your point, that I don't think the fundamentals have changed very much to warrant the kind of change in the price which we have seen during the last few days.
Mr. Rajwade, how would you read the market? Because when we are at 68, people talk about 70. When we have come down to at 63, there are those 60 kind of noises also getting quite clear in the markets there. So would you say that perhaps rupee continues to be volatile? 60 to 70 could be a broader range?
Yeah, it could be a broader range, but I'm not surprised at the kind of numbers you mentioned, 70 at one point and 60 now, because one of the most popular and profitable trading strategies is what is known as momentum trading. You go in the direction of whatever trend is there. Also, a lot of people, I imagine, who are quoted by the media, are traders, currency traders in banks and other places, and I imagine that their time horizons are very, very short, and their momentum trading is a very, very popular and generally profitable strategy, provided of course you are very strict and very disciplined in terms of observing stop losses. So I think in many ways the mentality becomes to extend a trend in the direction in which it is going.
Mr. Rajwade, what has been your reading on how are you approaching the IIP numbers tomorrow evening? Because previous month was a contraction of 2.2%. We have the various broking houses coming with numbers which are negative and which are positive as well. How would you want to approach it?
Well, my own feeling is that whatever data we have seen coming in terms of economic activity, the PMI indices and so on and so forth, does not seem to suggest that the number is going to be very bullish. So probably stability rather than any jump either way.
Mr. Jware, while we have seen various steps coming in from the government and RBI as well, perhaps there could be more notifications coming in. Currency swaps is something that the markets are yet again talking about, and you also have that diesel price hike which perhaps could be in the pipeline. Would you say that these couple of steps could be incoming and they would impact?
Well, I think the steps so far taken would add to the firepower with the central bank in terms of addition to reserves. So I think the swap facility with commercial banks could take the reserves up by maybe around $20 billion, FCNRB and ECBs put together. The Japanese Central Bank of Japan swap facility, if it is activated, one doesn't know whether it will be, that is another 50. The other side of it is that the central bank is also doing reverse swap with the oil importers, where they are selling dollars in the spot market and buying them back for the future. So I think to an extent these two swaps would neutralize each other. The big advantage of the swap with the oil companies would be that it reduces a significant proportion of bulk demand from the market, leading to hopefully to lower volatility. But I think what we'll have to watch out for is the period when the swap matures. Now, I have not seen any published numbers or data about the maturity or length of those swap with the oil companies. Is it 1 month? Is it 3 months? But those swaps are going to be probably much bigger than what the commercial bank swaps would be as far as the current indications go.
That's about the Indian markets. Vijay, how would you approach the dollar index? Because while we have come off that 82.40 kind of highs, it still is holding around that 82 mark.
Manisha, the dollar is witnessing a good amount of defensive movement on the charts, and I think 81.40 is a level I would watch out for, give or take 20-25 basis points here and there. So I would watch 81.20 odd levels for signs of support for the US dollar index. And should it cross the 82 levels all over again, I think 82.45 is in the offing.
Well, Samiran Chakrabarti of Standard Chartered Bank believes that the rally in rupee will continue for some time, although further strengthening in the US bond yields is likely to trigger outflows from the emerging markets.
On the back of expectation from Raghuram Rajan and a relatively muted expectation on Fed, there is possibly still some strength left in this particular rally on the rupee. The currency has still depreciated quite a lot. There are enough risks around us that this currency depreciation can lead to another round of inflation going up, fiscal deficit going out of hand. But if US yields move up beyond the 3% mark, then I can expect some more outflows from emerging markets like India, and that could have a bearing on the rupee as well.
Mr. Jware, your point is worth taking when you talk about how the stop losses and how the traders really are dealing into the currency, and that perhaps is leading to all the volatility apart from all the fundamentals that we have to react to. But going forward, as we get into the last quarter of this calendar year, how would you look at the rupee and what factors would you be watching out for, and would election be perhaps one of them?
Most certainly election would be one of them. The uncertainty is created, and how particularly the overseas investor views the possibility of an election and who is likely to win it and what is likely to be the economic policies of a post-election government. But I think that may not matter too much, in the sense that as far as major initiatives are concerned, for instance the land bill and the food security bill, the two major parties seem to be very much hand in glove with each other. So I think any major changes in terms of economic policies seem difficult. Provided of course we don't have any major problems until the elections, and I wouldn't rule it out. Probably as far as the Q3 the Q3 in terms of the fiscal year expectations are concerned, I would wait for the monetary policy statement on 20th September, and B, the BOP data for the first quarter, which should be coming out towards the end of September, before firming up, because that second part is also very crucial. To what extent remittances are getting affected by reports about gold getting smuggled in while official imports of gold have come down. So I think I would probably not take a view on Q3 for the next week or two.
Fair point, Mr. Ajware. We'll let you go at that. So lots of things to watch out for in the month of September. It's IIP tomorrow, and you also have, of course, the monetary policy and various other numbers in sense of BOP also coming in this month itself. And that's about India, but you also have the Fed meeting next weekend. So loads of stuff to react to.